Volume 4 of High School DxD is the volume that introduces Gasper, and Gasper has always been a character that throughout the anime I've quite enjoyed, and I don't really see there really being much of a difference between Volume 4 and the anime. There is the sort of the same differences between Volume 3, where there is a bit of a shuffle round, a lot of extra context. I would say much later on in the volumes, there's a lot more world building, especially at the end after the big confrontation between Vali and Issei. There is a big amount of exposition dumping, sort of explaining things that are going on. But even throughout the volumes themselves, especially when it comes to Vali, and then of course the other powerful entities out there and all the intertwined strings that are pulling, there is a lot more world building in the actual volume itself. And I feel like if I was to note any major differences between the anime and the actual light novels, it would be the amount of world building, minus the actual shuffling around, which I don't really see much of an issue. I just see that more of pacing and just making sure everything flows from one episode to the next in the anime. As I've always said, how things are written down and how things play out in an animation in an anime format can be very different, and especially when you compare to light novels to mangas, things can be very different in especially timeline and how light novels sort of perceived in their own mind. But the thing that I noticed with this volume was just the levels of amount of detail in the actual building of the multiple layers of different things going on and explaining all the different powerful entities out there lurking about. And it really sort of is a bit of an exposition dump in this volume, especially when it comes to Great Red, Vali, the past, the connections between him and of course his human parts, and then of course his devil part, and then of course explaining all the little other connections between the fallen angels, the angels, and then the devils themselves, and how they have all kind of had that confrontation, and of course with God. There is also a little bit of a difference between some of the dialogue as well with the light novels and the anime, particularly when it comes to how they refer to certain groups. Sometimes in the anime they'll actually just not refer to them, but while in the actual light novels they will refer to certain groups. It almost feels like the actual anime tries to dumb it down a little bit to make it a little bit easier for fans to kind of consume the amount of exposition dumping. It's understandable, but at the same time it is a little bit disappointing because there is a lot of interesting world building that kind of makes you wonder what else is out there. But I feel like the anime tries to focus on more the fan service in this particular season rather than the actual world building and the character building, which I guess does make sense, but that's the funny joke of it. You know, you come for the plot and you stay for the plot, as the joke goes. But in this case, there was actually a lot of sort of plot missing from the anime when you look at the light novels, but nothing to the point where it would drastically change the entire premise of the story, especially when you look at Volume 5, which is the next review that will be coming out for High School DxD at some point in the future. That is a very big difference. Like, it goes from night to day. I would say the biggest differences so far, going from Volumes 1 through 4, Volume 1 has more differences than I would say Volume 3 and 4 have, but once you hit Volume 5, that's where you notice a massive amount of differences. But personally myself, I still really enjoy the anime. I really enjoy the light novels. I would say the only criticism towards the anime is there's definitely some scenes that feel a little bit cringy, and that particularly I feel like is mostly to do with the dubbed. The subbed seems to not have that problem, and I don't want to be hating. I love High School DxD, the anime and the light novel, but as far as constructive criticisms go, there is definitely some cringy voice lines in the actual dubbed for High School DxD, just particularly between, of course, a little bit of Issei, but not so much, Gasper, and then Rias itself. Just the sort of the pacing and how they react to certain situations feels very off-putting, but that's as far as it goes. Personally, I really love the introduction of Gasper, because Gasper is one of those characters that has always grown on me, and of course I won't spoil what happens in the future. This is focused on Volume 4, of course a little bit of Volume 5, just the differences. But I really like Gasper because even in this volume, he does make some substantial growth. Very much early stages, he doesn't want to come out of his box itself, and mostly just does all his work in that room, and he has apparently a computer in there, and he does his contracts through the computer and online, which just shows how clever he is when it comes to the tech-savvy kind of things. I liked that part about the light novel, and that's why I like Gasper so much, because there's a lot of extra flavor in the light novels that kind of opens up to what he was doing beforehand, how he feels about the certain situation, how he feels very much down on himself, and then him making his first major step forward in becoming a lot more forthcoming and trying to be more proactive and confident in himself, not just his own abilities, but in generally how he interacts with other people, his social skills, and his self-reflection, especially with the way he's been treated through his past. He's definitely got a lot of an emotional baggage to deal with. Another character that also gets introduced in this volume is of course Sensei, or as some people like to refer to, the leader of the fallen angels. And I love his character. I always have loved the sort of wittiness that comes with him, just how funny, smart, intelligent, but also caring he can be, and especially with the fact that he's very obsessive about the boosted piece that is of course on Issei, and all the other powerful pieces of technology that are out there as well that are on the others, like for example Kiba's piece, Gasper, etc. It goes on and on and on. He has a wide range of knowledge that is very useful, and the fact that he's very much on the side of peace and love and sort of definitely pushing Issei in that direction as well. Seeing Vali turn was an obvious, and especially the little rivalry between Vali and Issei, that was also to be expected. I mean, Captain Obvious Air, I mean, the signs were very obvious in these volumes that Vali was definitely one of those rogue individuals, and I won't spoil what happens later on, but if you want to, look at the other videos. But one of the other things I also noticed as well was, of course, the differences in the actual light novel and the anime when it came to Sensei. Sensei has a lot more to say and shows off a lot more of his wide variety of knowledge in the actual light novels itself, and it really explores the amount of world building. As I mentioned right at the start of the video, there's a lot more world building in this volume, and Sensei is one of those characters that really opens up the doors and explores a lot more of the stuff out there for the actual readers to actually visualize. And of course, the interaction between Issei and Sensei is a lot more interesting as well. There's a lot more back and forth going on and a lot more mentoring as well. I really do love Sensei and the sort of the things that he has to offer the team, and the fact that he ends up joining the cult club and helping them out and improving on their actual skills, combat, etc., and getting them ready for the bigger challenges that to come. I really do love his character, and that's just something that it's grown over the volume. Also, another major center stage in this volume was also Akeno. I felt like Akeno had a very good moment to shine, dabbles into a bit of her backstory. This was very similar to the actual anime itself. The anime didn't really cut anything out of this. Of course, a little bit of context differences, but very minor. Akeno has always been one of my favorite girls. Depending on who your favorite is, you're all entitled to different favorites, but for me personally, Akeno has definitely been one of my top favorite tiers for High School DxD. And we do get, of course, see a little bit of a backstory, the world building, of course, for her as well. There's, as I said, a lot of world building. But the bonding between her and Issei has always been a very nice treat. And then of course you learn a little bit about her past when it comes to her connections with her father, and then of course the fallen angels and the fact that she is half devil, half fallen angel, and then some of the mental scars that are deep embedded in her, and how Issei sort of tries to brush that aside and just show that Akeno is a good person deep down inside, and her connections to the fallen angels does not matter at all. As I said, there's definitely a lot of major centerpieces in this, but I really like to highlight the stuff that really stands out to me and then kind of brush over some of the stuff that's different. And I definitely feel like Volume 5 is going to be very interesting because there's a lot of differences. But as I said, the major centerpieces is of course Gasper, Akeno, Sensei, and then Vali. The major three big introductions of course being Vali, Sensei, and Gasper. But there is so much interesting stuff to deal with when it comes to Sensei more than anything, because I feel like he had the most shine when it comes to backstory and world building, which was scrapped from the actual anime itself, which is disappointing, but it is what it is. But overall, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What did you like about this volume? What did you like about the anime? Have you read the light novels? Again, I will announce on the channel when there is an official release date of the light novels or any news about the new season. There has been no official confirmation of a new season of High School DxD as of uploading this video, but when there is, I'll definitely announce it on the channel. But overall, love to know your thoughts. But if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more anime content, and I'll see you, beautiful nerds, in the next video.